conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Good day, good people. Once again, you've got the grumpy old nerds in your ear. And being as black as possible on Colored People Time today, but that's okay. We're still going to give you that good content. So, as always, we have our usual cast of characters here to give you what you need, even though you didn't know you needed it. Starting with the Five-Borough Ronin. What's good, Uncle Rod?
What's good, good people? What it is?
What it is.
We
I
got
told you
another
we're gonna be
square
extra
field
black
tonight.
today. Yeah, look out now. We look a whole lot better because we got Auntie Nicole with us. What's good, Auntie Nicole?
Good. I can finally sit like a normal person, and I'm not in my car because I'm in Florida now. I'm not finally
Well,
at work for a change.
well, you know what, Auntie Nicole? You can tell that story if you want to. I'm going to leave that up to you. And as always, behind the scenes, too, we have Uncle Roy. What's going on, Uncle Roy?
Cello.
Oh, wow. We got the quick cello today. Okay. So, So, starting off, I would be remiss if I did not admit something that I truly, I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to turn in my man card on this one. So, some friends of mine were watching this TV show called Reasonable Doubt on Hulu, and I had heard how good this show is, so I decided to check it out. This ain't nothing but a straight up black soap opera, but you know what? I like it. I have to admit that I'm really enjoying this show. Now, I don't know if it's because they have an extremely attractive woman as the lead, but basically, this show is about a woman who is separated from her husband, and she's a lawyer, criminal attorney, and, you know, basic scandal, Shonda Rhimes type stuff. But because it's Hulu,
is it produced by her?
No. But it is produced, it's created and produced by a young lady who was on the writing staff for Scandal.
Okay.
And it's also produced by Kerry Washington, too. So
No, wow.
they have,
I don't think I knew that at all. I've heard of the show.
Yeah, I am enthralled by this show. They cuss, they have steamy sex scenes. I'm sitting here watching this show, feeling the testosterone leaving my body. admit that I do
Oh my
like the show.
God.
I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm really enjoying this show.
Well, if you
So,
feeling
have you
testosterone
all?
leaving your body, it sound like you need to go to
Yes,
the doctor, bro.
I'm trying to understand that comment, but that's okay.
Well. You know what? Well, okay. Here's the thing. Usually, I don't like soap opera unless it's got spaceships, superheroes, zombies, or something else tied into it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something
All
else
right.
aside from just a straight drama.
Right.
But I'm enjoying the drama, and I don't know if this is considered a chick show or not. But I'm really, again,
I've
I'm
heard of it,
really
but I've
enjoying this
not.
show.
I didn't know much about it,
Hey,
so.
hey, Roy, real quick, can you make the chat thing the crawl make a little bit bigger so we can see who the people are responding? I think
Yeah,
that's
because
James Otis Hall.
James Otis Hall is saying hello. Hello, James Otis Hall.
Hey, what's
Hey,
Uh-oh.
going on?
James.
Yeah, that's what she said.
All
Make
right.
it bigger. So, yeah,
Oh,
but
I missed you guys.
so
I missed
I
Get that
would,
y'all.
disclaimer ready, Roy.
right. I would suggest that if you have nothing, because there's a plethora of the sci-fi stuff that we generally talk about, but coming
True.
from a straight nerd, check out Reasonable Doubt. It's a show created by and produced by Black women, so I'm definitely feeling that. And like I said, the lead is a very attractive Black woman, and she gets to do nasty stuff and cuss, which is also
Uncle
a
John,
plus
I
in my opinion.
completely understand where you're coming from because I thought I was going to hand in my comic card because I literally watched Morbius last night.
Sandman
And no,
You talking
Morbius.
about
or
Sandman
Morbius?
or Morbius? Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Morbius.
Morbius.
All right.
Mhm. And I
Okay.
actually thought it was very good, by the way. And
Really?
I didn't know they had old boy from House of the Dragon in there. I actually liked it. I actually liked it. The effects were pretty good. I mean, the whole flying through New York City thing was a little weird, but you know what I'm saying? It still was, I thought it was good. I liked it.
Okay,
Good
and
for
that would
you.
be
But,
Matt Smith who you're referring to, who is one of the Doctor Who's. So,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
when addressing him to me, you will refer to him as the Doctor. But anyway, yeah, I get
Okay,
what
the
you're saying.
doctor. Okay.
I'm gonna take
Sorry,
this
I've been
call
on
real
my
Okay,
quick,
ass
people.
for
I'm
a couple of, off my
gonna take
ass
this
for a
call
couple of
real
days.
quick.
So.
okay, okay. So, real quick, before we go any further down that rabbit hole, Marvel has again announced another character of theirs who has been casted. I'm gonna mess up this brother's name. That's the disclaimer. Yahya Abdul Mateen II has
Mm,
been cast as Wonder Man, and first of all, he's a great actor. He's no stranger to comic book movies because he was Dr. Midnight in the Watchmen miniseries on HBO, and he is Black Manta for DC in the Aquaman movies. But here's my question: Wonder Man, Simon Williams in the Marvel comics, is a white dude. Are we? I'm always happy to see a black man cast in any role. Good for the brother to be cast in a major film. But are we going a little overboard now with the whole race swapping thing? Um, Wonder Man, like I said, is a white character in the comics. I don't see what's wrong with just making him a white man in the movies. And for
mm-hmm.
me, it's beginning to dilute a little bit the character when you consistently want to make them another race. Not trying to be
Yes.
well, yeah, you see what I'm saying. What are we cool with
I'm
this whole race swapping thing?
put it like this. I'm all for finally getting recognition for us in shows and everything and putting us out there because it's not like we didn't exist on this earth, on this planet or whatnot. But
Right.
it's almost to the point now that it's like as if they're pushing it so much that it is kind of seeming just very deliberate. It's as if a lot of these movie houses or whoever doing all of these productions, apparently they have this list, and I'm just going to call it, not that I believe it to be this way all the way, but the woke list. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we got to have all these bullet points now that has to be checked. You know what I'm saying? For like, okay, we got to make sure we got us a black person. Now, oh yeah, now we got to make sure we got us a handicapped person. Okay, let's not forget the gay storyline. Let's make sure that you see what I'm saying? It's like a list now that I'm starting to see in a lot of movies and a lot of different things now, and they're not trying to hide it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost as if there's something that has to be in there in order to make sure it appeases to everyone. Black people existed
So
all along, so putting us in a movie is not something that should be brand new. And it's sad that we're still saying the first whatever in 2022, but it's
right,
almost now to the point where it doesn't feel natural with certain things anymore. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And
right.
it's kind of like what they did to John Boyega in Star Wars. They had to put a man of color in there, made it almost seem like he was going to be the star of the show, and then turn around and he was just nothing but a sidekick. You know what I'm saying? But that was to sit there and check that checkbox. You know what I'm saying?
So I get what you're saying. Roy was making some funny faces. Were you making the funny faces, Roy,
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
what Nicole was saying, or is there something going on over there that we need to know about?
Yeah, nah, what she was saying and what she was saying, and I'm gonna let Ross say what he said, but I gotta go do what I needed to do real quick, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Turn your camera off
So
while you're doing that, bro.
too late.
Okay,
He's
let's
gone.
not see
Too late.
anything.
He's gone.
Okay.
So
I didn't even hear what you guys were talking about because I had to take a call
no,
real
we're
quick. So
talking
what are
about
we?
we're talking about Yahya Abdul Mateen II being cast as Wonder Man, and the fact
Okay, he's
that
not Wonder Man. Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. So how many? Uh, again, happy to see a brother get a job. Happy to see a strong
Mhm.
black man be a superhero. But
Right.
I'm getting kind of tired of the race swapping. How do we feel about the race swapping right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. I'm thinking to myself right now, okay, well, this guy is no stranger to the superhero game. He played Black Manta in Aquaman. He also played Dr. Manhattan in
Mhm.
the Watchmen TV show. So he has definite bona fides and credits. Making him Simon Williams Wonder Man,
Bona
sure, I
fides.
guess,
Oh
but did
my.
you have to?
Right.
What'd you say?
Right. Right. No, bona
Mhm.
fides. I'd never
Oh
heard that
yeah,
phrase before, but I'll accept it.
yeah.
See,
Go
that's
ahead.
why what I was saying, I'm not saying that black people don't deserve the roles. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that it's not necessary to swap the race of a character just to show that you're
Just
including
to
a
show
black
diversity.
person
Yeah,
right in the
okay.
Well,
script or something
Right.
like
So
that.
so I don't
That
think
is
that's what people
where
are
I
doing.
oh
mean,
shit.
let it be natural. Let them encompass a role that's just it's for that black actor. That black actor can be that person. You don't have to swap the race. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's like the same thing that happened with what's his name from Fantastic Four. And I mean, it's just I don't know. I just feel like right
Oh, that
now
didn't make
that
any
there
sense
is
at all. None.
I'm just speaking,
They
Anyway,
wanted Michael B.
go ahead,
Jordan as the
Uncle
Human
Uncle.
Torch. That's why it made sense.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let it be
so
natural. Let them encompass a role that is going to encompass a role. It doesn't have to be swapping.
here's my statement on that, because yes, and y'all know actually I'm not someone who is necessarily for race swapping, um, and I say that's why I said not necessarily. I will say it this way: certain characters, do I want to see them race swapped? No. Some characters, if they are a primary character to me, no, don't do it. If it's an iconic character, don't do it. Like as much as I would like to see, I'm still I'm working on getting Carlo Esposito being Xavier. You know, on Kiki playing Rogue and something. They this has become a big thing and stuff that people are talking about. What I don't think is a problem, because you got to remember when these comics were made back in the '60s, they had too many white men in them. Everybody was a damn white dude. Everybody was a white woman.
Correct.
You didn't have people of color.
Yeah.
They weren't putting people of color in there. So if you're changing secondary characters, like to me, It wasn't a big damn deal to change Jim Gordon to a black dude. It wasn't a big damn deal to
Right.
change Iris West to a black lady. Black, whatever they wanted to do. Characters like that, yes. I just don't think it's as big as a deal as people make it out to be. And I don't see Wonder Man, yeah, he became, I guess y'all read more than I do. He became, I guess, somewhat prominent in the comics, but nobody knows who the hell Wonder Man is.
He had a larger he had a larger part in the Avengers in the '80s when George Perez was doing the art for it.
Yeah, but
So
your average Marvel, or no, let me change that. Your average MCU viewer doesn't have a flipping clue who the hell Wonder
Simon
Man
Williams
is.
is.
Right. Hell, I know. Wonder Man. Like, who do you say Simon Williams? They'd be like, is that some singer? Dude,
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
matter. With characters like this, I don't think it matters. It shouldn't be an issue that you change the race of some character that damn near most of the people don't know about anyway.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So do you see it as a way to correct or rectify the fact that there weren't a whole lot of characters of color during the time in which these characters were created and prominent
I
in
do.
the 70s and 80s?
I do. I think that's a major thing that's needed to be fixed. Because people, think about it. Y'all are comic book readers, damn it. We grew up, and I can say I read more when I was younger, and I got tired of seeing all these damn white folks. I'm sorry,
Correct.
I hate to say it that way. You just get tired. It's like every time you turn around, some other white.
It's not very often that you saw yourself represented on the page.
Not even just yourself, just anybody other than white people. Like it wasn't nobody
Yeah.
else in the damn world. It was like it's like constantly watching episodes of Friends.
The first person of color I saw in a comic book was Wyatt Wingfoot in a Fantastic Four comic, the Native American.
Wow. That's
No,
terrible.
mine was with what is it, Hanna-Barbera, when they had the Super Friends and they had
Black
all
Lightning
of
or
those
Black
other
Vulcan.
Right,
Yeah,
all
the
of
kid
those
called Black
characters.
Lightning.
Those were the ones I
Right.
missed.
No, it was Black
Mhm.
Vulcan. It was
Right,
Black
you had the
Vulcan.
guy the Native American
Samurai.
dude. You had
Yep.
you had a couple of
Apache
different
Chief.
people.
Apache Chief, yeah. Electro.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, I remember what he said. That's damn right. I watched Super Friends.
But that's what I mean, though. It's like it would have been nice if they would have finally brought those characters to the forefront, even. Because I'm looking at it as the fact that they exist, regardless of how little they might have been used. They exist. You know what I'm saying? And it would be
Well, they
great to
kind
see
of
them. But I just think that it's like it's almost as if the way it's being done. Like I said, I am not downing having our people out there up front and center and so on like that. But
right.
it's like the way they're doing it is almost force feeding people this. It's like it doesn't feel genuine. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people will be
Yeah,
like, who cares? You know what I'm
It
saying? We're
feels like
getting the
it feels
recognition.
contrived.
But right, it's like there's some sort of agenda attached to this, or that it's only going to be for a little while. Be like, okay, you know what? We did that for you guys in the early, mid 2000s and so on. Okay, we're going back to the shit the way it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? After a while, they're going to pull a rug
Right.
out from under us after a while or something.
Yeah.
James,
No,
on
I totally understand what you're saying. I definitely
James.
understand that.
Y'all saw what James said. He said he thought The Rock should have been
Yeah.
Wonder Man, but he's like, your team is a much better actor, which he is. He's actually an actor.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah.
He is.
Absolutely.
I think The Rock would have been a great Simon Williams, actually, because that's a role
You know
where he
what's
could almost really be himself.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what's funny? In talking about race swapping, and I read this online, so take it with a grain of salt. Rogue from the X-Men was originally supposed to be black. And Chris Claremont, who created her, wanted her to look like Grace Jones. But Michael Golden, the artist, didn't know who Grace Jones was. So
That's
he
simple.
made
Get a
her
damn picture.
a white. This is before.
I hear you.
This
I
is
hear you.
before. So it's interesting the fact that Kiki Palmer came up in the conversation earlier. That Kiki Palmer wants to be Rogue because that could actually be a race swap that would actually make sense because Rogue is
Because it would go back to the
supposedly
original
from
form.
Right.
Rogue is Rogue is from rural Mississippi. The character herself is from rural Mississippi.
Right. Hmm.
So I find it interesting that all the fanboys have lost their mind that Kiki Palmer has said that she wants to portray Rogue
No, it
and
was
that
fan
she
casting that
actually.
got her to do that. That wasn't her. There were somebody like some fan actually put out a picture of her. I don't know if she like had her afro or something or clothes. I don't know what the hell it was. I can't remember. I remember seeing it, but a fan actually put out a picture of her saying, "Oh my God, she would make a great rogue," and then all of a sudden it just picked up. And she jumped on the bandwagon.
Hmm.
I mean, which why wouldn't you jump on the bandwagon when people are trying to
True.
But
get you to get into Marvel?
once
Yeah.
she actually put herself out there like that, the internet gatekeepers lost their minds because
Oh, okay,
they
I
did
didn't
not
I
see it.
want
believe it.
they did not want her to portray that character because they were now and I hate to call myself halfway agreeing with the with the gatekeepers, but
The
the character
masses.
of Rogue
Hmm.
being black makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Simon
Yeah.
Williams, eh, no one gives a fuck, like you said. Um,
So what about
and
like for instance,
and
like how people were talking about Reed Richards, for instance, right?
Okay.
right,
So he was initially white, I understand. Then he
yeah,
was black in I guess the portion of the comics that most people remember, I guess, or whatever like that. And then whatever else.
Oh,
So
are you talking about
how
Nick
would you
Fury?
feel Nick no no no.
I think she's talking about
Wasn't it
John Stewart.
Oh, you talking about the Human
is it
Torch?
John Stewart? Okay. Yeah, I got it
No,
wrong. So how do
the Human
you
Torch is Michael B. Jordan in the last Fantastic Four movie. Is
so
that who you're
so
talking
how
about?
would you feel put it like this?
Just go with it, Rod.
H-
All right, I'm gonna go with
How
it.
would you feel if, for instance, a character like that
Hmm.
people are saying, okay, well, initially he was white, but what the fandom remembers is that he's black. But when you bring him to the screen, he's white again. You see what I'm saying? And then
I
they
got you.
turn around and they do another version of the story, as they do with all these superhero things nowadays. And now he's black, and the fandom wants to lose their mind and say that that's wrong.
Well, you know what?
Hmm.
I think we have an example of that with John Stewart, which is what I was saying a minute ago, in that the original character Hal Jordan was
Mhm.
is white, but
Right,
when
right.
Justice League was animated and Dwayne McDuffie chose to put John Stewart in there to add diversity into the cast, that
Mhm.
created a generation of kids who saw the Green Lantern as being John Stewart. So
Right.
now
Being right.
cut cut to Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie, and there's outrage not just from us but from the
Mhm.
gatekeepers themselves saying, "Oh no, the first Green Lantern was John Stewart." Well, no. If you backtrack, that history shows that Hal Jordan was the first Green Lantern, a white man. But you
Mhm.
have so many people who have grown up with John Stewart. I guess it just depends on who you grew up in. Um, and I agree with Roy a little bit in there, this being a type of course correction because it was nothing but old
Mhm.
white dudes creating all these characters. And now that we have so much more widespread, more widespread audience, they're trying to appease. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think after a while, it's just like, okay, another black dude.
But
Why not make him Hispanic? Why not make him or Asian? You know what I'm
but
True.
you know
saying? It's
what?
just
Um,
white dude, we're gonna make him black.
but see, I don't think that's it. This is where I'm gonna agree with James. Honestly, this is about right now box office. Who's gonna draw people to the to the things?
Well, yeah, I do
And
agree.
your
Mhm.
teen, just like your boy, is it Jonathan Majors? Is that his actual name? No, why am I calling him Jonathan Majors?
I
Kang.
don't
Jonathan
know.
Majors is that's Kang.
Oh, so that is his
Yeah.
name. Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember
Yeah.
if that was his name. Those two gentlemen right now are like the hottest damn thing, and it's actually because of both of them did their thing at the same time. When they did the Watchmen show, and when he did Lovecraft
Lovecraft
Country,
Country. Yep.
that catapulted the both of them to a whole new stratosphere. and they're getting what I call the Will Smith treatment. Put his ass in the movie, it's gonna make millions. That's all they're thinking. They were like, this guy's gonna make hundreds of millions of dollars. Put him in the damn movie. Put him in the movie, and they were trying to find him. Hold on, go ahead, talk. I'll be back.
Well, I know like the rising star of people, you know what I'm saying? Like when you got somebody that's like the rising star and they are doing great in everything so far that they've been doing, it makes it
Right.
easy for them to slide into that role, even if it was
Yeah.
meant for a white person, only because everybody likes that person now. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
stuff.
The
But
more likable they are, the better people will take it. Absolutely.
absolutely. And
Definitely.
so, like for
Yeah.
instance, like having The Rock as Black Adam, that just, what I'm saying? I mean,
Well, The Rock
I
brings
get
that movie credibility.
right. No, I get you. But what I'm saying is just it makes it easy. Like for instance, remember when Will Smith did the movie Hitch, right? And
Yeah.
Hmm.
so everybody was talking about the chick who was his love interest. I think isn't she Cuban or something like that in real life? I can't remember.
Yes, she is.
Or so on. But Will
Yes.
Smith made a, a comment saying that when he was talking about the role, when he mentioned a black woman, they told him no. They said no, we can't have a black woman in that role because that's not that kind of movie. Then he
What
said
kind
there
of
was
movie
no
is
way.
that?
What'd you say? Say it.
So, what kind of movie is that? What are they talking about?
That's what I'm saying, but that's what he actually had an interview, and this is exactly how he put it. He did not want to be like a black. I guess they were looking at it as like not him, the producers and so on. They didn't want it to be like a black movie. You know what I'm
That
saying?
would have
Type
been
of
way
thing.
too black
They
for them.
didn't want this right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want this to be like everybody that's the lead and everything is black, because then that changes the storyline or the directive or so on. However, when they mentioned someone else, he was like, he said if he would have put a white woman in that role, then all the black people would have got pissed off because now his love
He's right.
interest is white and so on like that.
Correct.
So he said
Yeah.
that to
I can see
him,
people being bent
what's her
out of shape
face
about that too.
was the best equal medium was to put the Spanish chick in that role in order to kind of appease both sides. So I understand how these people who are directing and marketing these movies, but at the end of the day, it's still got to be something like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like this. They were forced into that position to have to use her to satiate everybody.
Wait, who?
Yeah,
What did
I
I
see
And I
miss?
that.
mean, and I'm not saying that even satiated everybody, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody, it was believable. Put it that way.
Who were
Right.
y'all talking
So
about?
everybody, the Spanish woman, listen to that as Eva Mendes.
Yes.
No,
That's,
no,
I mean,
I'm asking. I missed that. I'm sorry. What movie were you talking about?
That
no, we was
Spanish woman.
She was
Hitch.
she was talking about Hitch. She was talking about how Hitch, Will Smith wanted a
Like when it
black
came down
female
to the race
lead.
thing,
Yeah.
it
And they
it
told him
it
no.
was it was definitely
Oh,
a
really?
plot in how they were going to make this money, and the movie had to look a certain way, and having a black female lead, they was not having it.
Hmm.
I
You
didn't
see what
know
I'm
that.
saying? And yeah, Will Smith actually did this in an interview, and then he said that he knew that black people was going to be pissed off if the woman was white.
I'm tripping about how they figure it would have been a quote unquote black movie because two black people are in the cast. Like, did they
That
forget that Kevin James
I was just about to
and
say, wasn't that the one Kevin James was in?
yeah, he was in it.
yeah,
They,
yeah.
And
anytime you have two,
there's another young lady in it. Hold on.
anytime you have two or more black people in a film as the leads,
That's a
it becomes
lead
a black
character.
film. That's
Yep.
that's Hollywood's thinking is that
Amber
you
They
got
Valletta.
literally
it's
said it. He
Amber
black on
literally
Valletta.
black.
said that.
So
Yeah,
if it's
so
more than
And
two,
that's what
if
I
it's more than
mean.
two
This
black
is
people, it's a black
they're
movie.
if you
as the
had
lead,
to,
yeah.
if he basically said that basically they looked at it as, you can't have like this ain't Love Jones or something else like that. It's not that kind of movie. This movie had to appease to the white people. So with that in mind, guess what? They had to lighten it up a bit. You know what I'm saying, type of thing, in order to make it be, for people to be happy.
See,
And
this
Will
is
Smith literally
I can see
had
it,
an
but
interview
it's
about this.
ridiculous.
and
I
this
can
is
see I can
Mm-hmm.
see what you're saying. I get what they're saying, but it's ridiculous as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part
Very
of the
much, yeah.
problem. White people have to get over them damn selves. Everybody else
See?
has regular lives too.
Yep.
Everybody does dumb shit. You know, y'all don't have a.
True.
I mean, y'all have a majority of the dumb shit, but everybody does dumb shit. We all be in movies and
You
do
Well,
different
know.
things.
you have to understand, straight white people are under attack right now, and we have to pray for our white brothers and sisters that they're able to make it
True.
through with all these different people coming through and taking their spot. So, white brothers and sisters, we pray for you and hope that you retain your superiority. But it's
I
all
mean,
coming down. It's all coming crumbling down soon enough. So get over yourself.
but John, just like the
Hmm.
Last Samurai being Tom Cruise and Genghis
Yeah. Oh
Khan
yeah.
being John Wayne, Elizabeth
Yeah.
Taylor being Cleopatra.
Yeah.
We won't
Yeah.
get into all
No.
those situations where seeing is how they
Angelina
created
Jolie being an actual black woman in a
right.
movie role.
They created race swapping, and now they mad because other people are doing it. Is what it is.
Okay.
And right
Is
So
that
now, if
what
you
it
I
is?
ask me, this whole expansion on comic books and so on like that into the movies, this is actually providing a threshold for more and more people of color to be able to be in movies now. If you notice, and now you get a lot of entertainers saying that they feel like all these comic book movies and stuff is not real movies. They don't feel like this is like real acting or real whatever now. It's like it's almost a level of hate on it now.
Hey,
Yeah,
well,
they're
John,
really trying to
as
that's
James Otis
a
downplay the
Hall,
whole
importance.
nother thing.
said, when them checks hit, I bet they real.
For real.
Yeah.
Hey,
But that's a whole
I
Absolutely.
nother
completely agree.
that's a whole nother discussion, Nicole, about the fact that So anyway, but we've beaten this horse pretty much dead. That was already dead. So on to the
Simon
next
Williams,
subject.
Yahya Abdul Mateen. Do it.
Yeah,
It's
let them
whatever.
do it.
um,
Do the thing.
right.
It's whatever.
So read recently that Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher.
Yep.
Now, I think
Yeah,
that
isn't
this
that
is a
something?
good thing because first of all, Henry Cavill is almost as bad as Chris Pratt, where every time you turn around, Henry Cavill is showing up in somebody's property, tentpole movie.
There's a reason for that.
But but I think that Henry Cavill is about to gear up to give us some for real Superman. Superman's about to show up in every goddamn thing DC puts out within the
Yep.
next 2 years. I think. Now,
Almost
as
as
a
it should
fan,
be.
yeah, as a fan of The Witcher, because I know Rod that you watched The Witcher. Roy, you watch it
I
too.
did.
Hmm.
How does
I
this
thought he
affect?
did a
Because they
I thought he did a great job as Geralt of Rivia, the main character of The
okay.
Witcher. He looked
So,
just
are
like
you
him.
upset? Are you
I'm
upset that
not
he's
upset.
leaving? Are you?
No, I'm not
Oh,
upset
okay.
because I feel that I think
Sorry.
it's either Chris or Liam Hemsworth is replacing him.
Liam.
Liam.
It's
Liam.
Yep.
Liam. Okay.
Hmm.
'Cause Liam
Chris got
Hemsworth
shit
is replacing
going on
him.
too.
Right. So Liam, I think, is going to do a good job. Do as good a job as Henry Cavill? Probably not. It'll be all right. And if that's the trade off, that he has to not be Geralt, then hopefully well thought out and created DC movies, fine. I'm all for it.
Okay. Okay. Roy, what about you? You think because Henry Cavill is a pretty strong presence to away from a character else come in.
Yeah, not for me. Another white dude, another buff white dude playing the role. It'll be all right. I want him as Superman. That's the role that I
Oh
don't
my
see
god.
nobody else doing after him. All this other
You want
stuff,
to see him get punched in the
Actually,
face by
I
a
think
black guy?
I think he made a good Superman. I think
he
he
made a
did.
great. Henry Cavill physically has been the best Superman.
Hmm.
He physically is the best Superman. Before it was Dean Cain, who then turned into a marshmallow. And then you had your boy Tom Welling playing the. But
Right.
as an adult Superman, Henry Cavill fits it. And the thing for me that's actually kind of funny about it is I see, and it's funny because it looked like that's where the Snyderverse was going with the whole DC apocalyptic thing and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
His character, the way he plays Superman, reminds me of them getting to that point where Superman goes rogue in a movie. Like I could see the with all of the stuff they're doing. Like I actually, and I remember John, we talked about this when the movie first came out, that you had a hissy fit about the fact that Superman killed Zod, and
Yes.
I was like, to me, yes, he needed to do that. Like they needed Superman to at least have crossed that line once, so that gives you the explanation and it shows why he no longer wants to do it. Sort of like Batman and not using guns, you know. So I
I
was
can see
good
why
with
you would
that.
say that. I
Yeah,
can see why you would say that,
yeah, I
but
was
not with
good with
Zod.
that.
But not with Zod.
Why
that's
not?
that's a great recurring villain.
No, man, I mean, Dot. I don't. I guess for
Kill
me, from the beginning,
kill
from the very
Feora
beginning.
or kill the other one. Snap Feora's neck because she's a pain in the ass. But leave Zod
Super.
alive.
What Snyder did
Oh
with
my
the DC
gosh.
universe, someone needs to go group him because it wasn't the true DC universe. Superman is not that dark, brooding character. Superman is the big blue Boy Scout.
Right.
Superman is, and even Henry Cavill has said in interviews that he wants to bring some optimism to the character. He wants the character to be someone that the audience looks at as a ray of hope. And Zack Snyder made this dark, brooding fucking universe and did everything wrong and backwards with his dumb ass. And I think we have him
So,
to
John, you
to
didn't like the
thank
Snyderverse?
for Ezra. No, I did not.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh. So
No,
after the 4 hours,
I'm
Tell us
not.
how
yeah.
you really
It
feel.
wasn't.
Jesus.
It wasn't the worst
Everything was
thing.
sad as fuck.
You're right, and Batman. You can't have Superman and Batman both being
Being
brooding.
brooding. Yep. That I
One
Dark,
is
give you.
right?
brooding.
Dark. Yeah,
One is
yeah. I
dark.
feel you
One
on
is
that.
light. And also,
Yeah.
Zack Snyder gave us Ezra Miller running like he's
In a rave.
right,
Oh,
like he's
Uncle
swimming.
John is never gonna let that go.
And Zack Snyder gave us Martian Manhunter, which was totally unnecessary in that fucking movie.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
like the
don't
Justice
wasted
League.
understand that
character.
either. That is still a question, a big giant question mark. I
All this
don't
Well,
get
that's
shit
it.
why they
going on, and you
that's
just
why they
hanging
took
out.
it out. That's why they took it out. But
Well,
the whole
Zack
thing
Snyder
was
originally wanted Jon Stewart,
right.
and it's
And
just
and I
like
think they have that
no.
footage. I think they have footage of Jon Stewart as well.
They do. It was pulled out. That was pulled out of the movie as well.
Because remember,
I
it was
mean,
supposed to be a huge two-part. It was supposed to be a two-part thing where first part and in the second movie they were going to go back. They were going to fight him on Apocalypse.
Mm.
So that would have included Jon Stewart.
yeah, it was Zack Snyder. One again. Warner Brothers have the wherewithal to hire somebody to be in charge of this universe who had an understanding of this universe. Hopefully that there's a course correction with that with James Gunn, who I think gets it. Zack Snyder didn't get it and doesn't get it, and should have to anywhere close to a comic book movie again. But that's just my 2 cents.
Don't let the man close to another comic book movie.
Ever again, ever again,
I'm not
because
going to say that because
he'll
he does great adaptation.
no.
He did a great job of
No.
300. He did a great job of Watchmen
300, but okay, superhero comic book films.
because they were
Keep 'em away.
adaptations. Like he was taking something that was already done and putting it on film.
Right.
He wasn't trying to create stuff out of the ether and put it on film. Like with Justice
Right.
League. You
Well,
see what I'm saying?
don't let him do that shit no more. No. Damn it. So, yes to more Superman.
Gotcha.
hopefully James Gunn gives us someone who has the correct vision for Superman going forward. Um, I'm yeah, DC is just still
Let me
fucked
ask
up.
you this,
So
John. Let me ask
go
you this.
ahead.
Hold on before we jump off it. Would
That's
you
what she
be
said.
cool? Would you be cool with the Snyderverse if they did lighten up Superman and made him, like you said, the Boy Scout, the ever hopeful guy?
No, because Zack Snyder would still not have the correct vision for the characters. Zack and you saying Zack Snyder lighten up Superman, that would have been good, but he didn't do that when he had the chance. So why would he do it given a second chance?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
honestly,
We
I think he
we
did
had
though. Think about it. It was. And Let me get there.
Yeah, you're gonna
And
have to get there, bro.
and that part, no, the part of it when he brought him back, when he brought him back, what was it that brought him to his senses or to himself? His love for Lois, right?
Okay.
Oh,
That's
I
what
think
got
the
him
new
to
Lois
stop.
is boring as hell.
Yeah, I don't like her,
But
but
anyway.
that's a whole nother damn discussion. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. But
so nothing you're
Sorry.
saying is endearing me to a Zack Snyder interpretation of these characters. But please continue.
no, I'm just saying that's what that he started lightening him up in that sense of giving him the thing that the love for her was what brought him back. And then remember we already knew that love was going to be the thing that turned him dark anyway because she dies, or at least that was the whole thing when Flash ran back in time and told him that.
Yeah,
So
that was a
you
possible
you
timeline.
you basically have just contradicted what you were saying because he lightened him up, but the very next storyline was going to be what? Lois dying and him going
Injustice,
crazy, which rather him being dark.
Justice League Injustice, or just Injustice, whatever it's called. It's that
Yeah.
storyline.
No, fuck Zack Snyder. No, can't do it.
I think you have, before you can establish the Justice League,
Wait, say that
they
again,
didn't
Okay.
Rod.
really do that. I said before you can do something like Injustice, you have to establish the Justice League.
You do.
Yes.
You have to
Yeah.
establish that
Yes.
first. Otherwise,
Yes.
people are like, "Why do I care that this is happening now?"
And that's the exact point. DC does nothing to establish any kind of base. Okay, so take the Ant-Man films, for example. The Ant-Man films were trash. The first two were that. But those two films are establishing that will make us care for Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantumania, which looks like it's going to be crazy as fuck. So look at the first two Thor films. They were trash too. But they established Thor, they established his world, and yes, they were kind of slow and
Mm,
boring. But you needed those to get to Thor Ragnarok. Now, Thor Love and Thunder, don't know what the fuck that was, but we needed the first two Thor films to get to Thor Ragnarok.
Now you talk about a movie just appeasing people.
I like the
That's what Ragnarok was. Ragnarok was appeasing people because they just threw everything in there. I was like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
Oh my
I
god.
like the
yeah.
first Thor film. Thor: The
I did
Dark
too.
World. Heck, the Dark
No,
World
that was
had so much
good. I like that
potential,
one. Yeah.
but it fell
That
short.
one was good.
Ragnarok, like you guys said, they kind of just threw it in there, made a gumbo, and hoped everybody liked it. And it
Yeah.
turned out okay. Taika Waititi
But
put his humor in it, and it was cool.
yeah.
Love and Thunder, too much of that, too much of that, and nonsense. We talked about it before, but
Yeah.
Hey, I'm liking Thor better in
people who like Taika Waititi are gonna like it
God of
regardless.
War.
Right.
I'm
Some
waiting
people
for that.
say that to establish to get to Infinity War and Endgame. The lull in the action is necessary sometimes in order to be that building block to get to that final place.
I actually liked
So
Ultron.
I liked
Huh?
Age of
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Voltron is generally looked at as the as the least of the Avengers films. And if you think about it,
Yeah.
where do you in the Avengers films, the first, second, third,
There's
and
only
fourth, where
4.
would you put Age of Ultron? Right. Where would you put Age of Ultron?
Oh, wait a minute.
It would
And
be 4.
well, yeah, I guess so when you look at it
It
that
would be
way.
4. But I
Exactly.
mean, if you're gonna talk about a top 4 and there's only 4, somebody's got to be at the bottom.
Right. But still, it's not.
Right.
It's it. Right. So
Well,
even though
don't put it
it's
put it
at
this way, John. Hold on.
it's only 4 of those films, the bottom of those particular 4 films,
How about
and I'm
instead of
talking
saying the
about building
Avengers?
towards something.
I'm about to say instead of saying the Avengers movies, let's look at the first 4 phases of the Marvel stuff. Because what I've heard is that people have ranked it like really, really low. But I wouldn't put I would put Age of Ultron in the top half of my rankings, definitely of the first 4 phases. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
I would say
definitely better
yeah.
than all of the Ant-Mans. It was definitely. I liked the first Thor, but I still think Age of Ultron was better than that. I think it was.
That's why
Yeah, so.
that's why I'm saying you can't judge the Avengers films against the other Marvel films because the Avengers films are events, are something else entirely. You can't judge the Ant-Man films against like the Spider-Man films because those are 2 different characters entirely. Ant-Man, nobody knows who the fuck Ant-Man is. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is. So if you're looking at the different films, they kind of have to be compared against each other almost because as a group, there are so many different waves that they go through. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to compare one of the Ant-Man films to even maybe a Doctor Strange film, although those are a little bit similar in tone.
I think
Yeah.
a way to look at it would be a lot of the films with the heroes, the solo films, issues of a comic,
Yeah,
whereas the Avengers films would be more like you said before, an event which would have taken place over a series of issues or an
right,
annual,
Mhm.
which would be
right,
larger size because you have more characters in it. So if you think about it that way in comic book terms, then yeah, it's kind of hard to compare Avengers films to any of the solo films.
exactly. Now you've got that with Marvel. Now look at DC, where they just throw shit out there just for the fuck of it, and you got to your
See
way
what's it?
around whatever the fuck you're trying to do because
Figure it
you
out,
can't even.
folks.
Right, because you had your singular Superman set of films, you had your Wonder Woman films, you had Aquaman, you had there's somebody else I'm forgetting, but it's like
Batman.
that. Well, you didn't even really have a Ben Affleck
You didn't
film
have a
to
D, yeah,
really
you didn't have a
build
DCU
on that
Batman film.
character, right? They threw him in with Superman, so that was basically Superman Civil War, without giving us the Batman character to really know or to even really absorb or care about. So now you just got DC just throwing shit out there, and it's like, okay, pick one. Let's see if you like it, and if you like
They were
that one, we'll
trying. It
make the
seems like
next one in the same tone.
yeah, it seems like they were trying to find something to be like, hey, let's do this big blockbuster thing to compete, rather than take the time to
Yep,
build it. Because Iron Man had 3 films to build up Tony Stark's character. Captain America
yep,
had pretty much 3 films or 2 films
yep.
to build
No,
up
three.
the confrontation, right?
Right.
To build up the confrontation with
Hmm.
Tony Stark in Civil War. So people became invested and knew who these characters were and could see both sides of the argument. And at that point, it was
Yep.
pretty much whoever you liked the best, you sided with.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but in order to get that kind of sentiment, you had to have some establishment first, and that's what those first films did. Whereas you just have
Yeah.
Batman showing up and Superman showing up and Wonder Woman showing up, going up against Doomsday,
Right, right, right.
Who just showed up?
who just showed up.
Who just came out of fucking nowhere. Yeah.
Right.
So no, yeah. Well, you know
Oh my
what? Since we're
god.
on the DC train, let's keep rolling down the DC train. We may be seeing, well, not maybe, we are seeing the end of the DC TV dominance over on the CW with the cancellation of Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, and The Flash. Roy, I think Roy, if the Legends of Tomorrow was the first thing, Roy would go beat up. Roy just does not like Legends of Tomorrow. But
I
having
liked the
said all
Flash
that,
the first 2 seasons. After that, I was done.
well, here's the
Interesting.
question: are we saying farewell to these shows? Are we upset that the Arrowverse or the CW verse or whatever is coming to an end, or did they last past their time?
I think they stayed a little bit too long in the case of Arrow and the Flash, where
That
everybody was
was
all in. It got people. It was almost like appointment television at one point. You
Right.
know, you had to be around the TV to watch the Flash and to watch Arrow. And then when they did the big the first time they did a big crossover, it was a big hit. And I think that Legends of Tomorrow, I think they just kind of thought of that as kind of like an add-on, just kind of like a throw-on show to do. That's like they use that to do like really weird stuff,
That they gave 8 seasons to.
and it didn't work to me. It didn't work. So that lasted a little bit longer than it needed to. To be
A
honest with
lot
you,
longer than it needed to.
yeah. To be honest with you, in terms of Stargirl, I've only watched a few episodes of Stargirl, but
I
I
never
do
even
like
seen
how
watched
they,
it.
yeah, I do like how they have some nods to the Justice Society in it,
Well,
which is
oh,
cool because she
my
was a
bad.
member of the Justice Society in the comics. You know,
think
again,
it's
we
actually
talking. Why
it's
didn't
like
they
it's
cross the
ruining
moon?
their reputation. The movies is ruining the reputation for anything else DC. Unfortunately,
No, I don't think that. So I actually watched Stargirl.
I did
Um,
too.
I think the biggest challenge that they have with Stargirl is, and I know it's about the show is called Stargirl. They centered too much around her, in my opinion, and didn't deal with the rest of the people in the Justice Society enough as much as they should have. Um,
See that?
yeah, it just seemed like every little situation was centered around her, and I think that became the problem. Cause listen, John, how we all? What's your favorite term? Really not the demographic. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
sure even they get bored
Yeah,
with everything being about the blonde cheerleader.
yeah. Stargirl was not meant for you, sir.
I mean,
You
no,
are
but like
not
I
the
said,
demographic.
I actually watched it though. My point is, I watched it, and
That's cool,
I'm able to look at it from a
right?
story perspective, and that was my thing. I don't think they developed everybody else enough. I don't think they gave
I agree.
like some of those stories should have been centered around those people's characters and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of the Justice Society in general, I don't understand why such a great group can't be
fellas,
done
I gotta
better.
go because I'm not going to get any quiet here for a little bit. She's starting to cry, so I gotta
Uh-oh.
go off now and do
Oh
what
Feeding
I
Lord.
do.
time, huh?
Well, we're always grateful for any amount of time we got with you, Auntie Nicole.
Thank you
She
guys.
like,
I'll be
Nana,
back
get off the
on.
damn
Sorry.
get off the damn
Take
computer,
care.
Nana. Get off the damn computer, Nana. Come play with me.
Yeah, you hear that? Yeah, I'm being called. I'm being beckoned.
All right.
Take care, guys. You have a
All
good night.
right.
All right. You
Good
too.
night.
Bye.
Take care of that ass. Inside joke, y'all. So no, I think that with Stargirl, because I actually watched the first season because it intrigued me and it was done fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
Special effects were okay. Storyline was pretty solid. Um, then the second season began to drag a little bit for me because it was just like, okay, well, yeah, okay. So we know you're the daughter of Starman. Um, it's another case where I think their vision extended their reach because they didn't have the money to animate Stripes, the robot, the giant robot. Well, not
Yeah.
giant robot, but the robot that Stripes was supposed to be piloting. So even though he was there were too many storylines. It was like, okay, just jump in the giant robot and punch your way out. Why can't we do that? And it was always, oh, Stripesy is broken. Oh, Stripesy needs to do this. Stripesy needs to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, okay, so why do you put? You have limitations. It's like with Doom Patrol, not Doom Patrol, Titans, where Beast Boy only changes into a tiger. Why put a character on TV that has the power to change into animals and not have him change into
Into
animals?
animals.
He only and he's and the character is green in the comics, but you don't have the money to make him green for every episode, so you have him revert to his natural skin color, and then when he transforms, that's when he turns green. That's stupid. Why would you put? It's like what Legend of Tomorrow did with Firestorm. Firestorm didn't use his powers all the time because that would have been expensive, and they didn't have the money. So Firestorm, instead of transforming things like his character does in the comics, he would fly around, shoot a fire blast, and then somebody would eventually knock him out. So you wouldn't have to
Right.
pay for his effects anymore. I
Right.
just think that Stargirl, they had the opportunity. They started off strong, and then just kind of petered out. And Legends of Tomorrow is just a whole different animal because that show is just stupid. And that was a comic book show for people who don't read comic books because they think they're silly and they think comic books are just like this goofy kids entertainment. And that's what Legends of Tomorrow was. Legends of Tomorrow actually, to me, seemed like it wanted to be a superhero Doctor Who, kind of.
Yeah,
And
maybe. Yeah,
that
I
didn't
could see that.
and it didn't work. It just it came off as too Doctor Who. The character of the Doctor is special because he's the only one who acts like that. In Legends of Tomorrow, all the characters wanted to act like that. Had this little quirky, trippy kind of way they acted, which just doesn't work. A personality like that has to be offset by a personality who's more grounded. So Legends of Tomorrow was just Flash definitely ran past this unintended. You just get tired of hearing
And
"Run,
and
Barry, Run" every episode.
Legends of Tomorrow started out having a really cool villain in Vandal Savage.
Yes, absolutely,
They could have done a
absolutely.
lot with that.
So, good. I'm glad it's gone. CW. Oh, but you know what's not gone is Superman and Lois. Now that is another show that's actually pretty well done, and you throw a lot in that show. I'm curious to
So
see
you
where
like
that
that?
show goes. Yeah, Superman and
So,
Lois is actually solid.
Hmm.
okay, there you go, James Otis Hall, because he asked, "Did you like any? Did you like
He
any
did. I
shows?"
saw that.
Yeah, so
James,
there
I
you
do
go,
like some
James.
stuff. Yeah, but Superman.
Superman
Have
and Lois.
Have you watched Superman at all, Rod?
I watched a couple of episodes. Yeah, I
Okay,
can't say that I'm there consistently.
right. I mean, I don't watch it consistently either, but the episodes that cat have seen, I'll, when it doesn't become soap opera-y with the sons, is when I dig it.
I've
Okay.
actually been up on it. I think I've watched up to the current season. I actually like it. I think, like you said, I think they did a really good job with it. Um, I was very, I really liked the way that they brought in, well, Steel is what I call it, the Steel character with John
Yeah.
Henry Irons and stuff, and having,
Henry, I-
yeah,
Hmm.
having him be from another universe, and it was definitely. I like the whole storyline about how from his universe Superman went bad, basically, and so he had to come and he had to switch over, and he and Lois were married. That like that when they were doing that part of the storyline, that took everybody. I think that took everybody out because we were. I think initially we were thinking he was going to be Lex Luthor,
Yeah,
and but no, I think
absolutely.
they've done a good job. I think they've done a good job with that, utilizing some of the different things. Like this past season was basically about the Bizarro world,
Hmm.
and that the whole concept of that situation happening and the merging with what they were doing. So I like that one too. So so that one you said that one has not been canceled.
Hasn't been canceled, no.
Okay.
But it's interesting because they've kind of at first they wanted to tie it to Supergirl, but then when Supergirl got canceled, they distanced themselves from the whole multiversal thing. You never heard Supergirl mentioned on Superman and Lois, and then it becomes, Superman is in his own particular square of the CW's multiverse, And I just, I like the fact that it's isolated. All
I'm
those other
curious
shows
as
have.
to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm curious as to why they had to make Steel from another universe. Why couldn't he have just been John Henry Irons, the scientist or the engineer, and just created that suit in that same universe?
You know, I thought about that, but that's why I said I actually like the way that they did this because of the fact, just because of what they, how the whole thing played out. It brought more depth to the story and him dealing with it. Because of course he gets to this universe, and then the first thing he does is he sees his dead wife being Lois, and then they talk about the fact how Clark and Lois actually had a daughter who died. She had a miscarriage. But in that universe, they actually had the child, the daughter, who then came over, and like even her having to deal with seeing this woman who for everything is her mother. So I think that the whole multiversal part of that I thought was really, really good. I think, like I said, I think that gave the story more depth than just pulling him in as somebody from this same universe who created the suit. Like it gave him a reason for creating the suit. I think that's the big difference. So but when John Henry Irons didn't he do his during the time that Superman was like, we thought either they thought he was dead or something.
No, he was dead. Doomsday killed him.
Yeah, Doomsday, right. So that was the whole point of that. So and think about it, they had already done Doomsday, so I don't see them wanting to do Doomsday in the TV show. So they had to come up with another reason for him to need to create this suit.
All right, well, two other questions real quick. Do you think that John Henry Irons would have been okay if he were not black, if that character were not black?
When you say
That's
okay, what do you mean?
Would you been okay with John Henry Irons being a white dude, or an Asian dude, or a Hispanic dude?
You know what?
Or an Indian dude?
And this is going to probably sound real bad. I probably wouldn't have been okay with him being a white dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I
you
probably
see what I'm
would
saying?
have been
So,
but I would have been okay with him being any other ethnicity.
Yep.
I would not have had a problem with that. If he was a Hispanic guy, okay. He was an Asian guy. I ain't got no Asian Superman. That's fine. Go ahead. It is what it is.
Well, there actually is an Asian Superman in the comics, but okay, I got you.
Shit, there you go. I didn't.
Yeah, I got you. All right, because I remember I'm just calling back to our previous conversation on race swapping.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah, I think that we need something other than white. And I hate to sound, well, however I sound, fuck it. But I've lived my entire existence up till maybe 20 years ago, where every hero was white, and then if there was a black hero, it was a sidekick or a peripheral
whose name
character.
had black in it.
Pretty much. So
Yes.
I'm happy that we get variety. I just wish that we could get, and this is why independent comics are so important. I want there to be characters whose origins are tied to their blackness, or whose origins are tied to their Asian heritage or their Hispanic heritage, Latin heritage, whatever. Hell, give me a fat superhero, and I'm good with that. I'm tired of muscular white men saving the world every day. I want someone who looks different than that.
I have the Green Lantern thing if y'all ready for it.
Sure. Let's check out Green
Lantern.
Beware my...
Hey.
Intruder!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I have pointy ones too.
Look.
Who are you? How did you get a ring?
My name is John Stewart, and if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. What the hell?
At last, I found you.
John Stewart of Earth.
What?
You possess singular will.
Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps.
After years of bloody war, the Owen security net was disabled. Hal Jordan and millions of Thanagarians died that day. They will pay.
Well, she's fun.
Sinestro thrives on chaos and death.
Get ready for a fight. Annihilate them.
I've been up against that kind of barrier my whole life. It hasn't stopped me yet.
Coordinates set.
Let's go?
Can I go first?
Go ahead. I guess so, yeah.
So I've actually watched this twice because I actually like Green Lantern, of course. I like Jon Stewart. I'm actually an Aldous Hodge fan, too, because I watched him in Leverage. And he's been good stuff. I like him. I think he's a great actor. He's a horrible voice actor. He sounds... The one problem I had with this is it literally sounds like he is reading all of the damn lines. It's literally like everybody else is talking and he's reading. That was my only problem with it. Yeah, he's not, I don't think he's a great voice actor. I think they're making it, he was hot. I'm thinking, dude, y'all just made him Hawkman. Let him do that. Don't give somebody else this one here. He's as bad as as Shamar Moore playing Cyborg to me.
Cyborg?
Yes. Yeah. It's like they're reading.
Okay. So I watched this today. I didn't realize that this was on HBO Max now. I stumbled upon it. I didn't necessarily enjoy the experience. I thought that the story was a little contrived. So where does this fit? Here, and again, the DC Warner Brothers problem. They throw stuff out there, and you don't really know how it fits into the greater scheme of their overall storytelling.
Hell, they don't
This
know,
is
John.
clearly something that is not tied to anything else in the live action or animated canon. This is literally a story. And
this is actually it's part of the rebirth. It's part of the rebirth line, I guess you would call it now, because you can tell by the change in the artwork. They were kind of following along the lines of the New 52. All the previous animated stuff was New 52, and now when rebirth happened in the comics, things changed up. So now the last couple of animated features were from the rebirth timeline, a rebirth
continuity
of DC. Yeah.
So give me the other animated films that are a part of this, because I need to catch up.
It has to be that Constantine one is the only other one, isn't it?
The Constantine one. Yep, the new Constantine. Yeah. It's a mystery. And the one that just came out, the Super Sons, Batman and Superman, the Super Sons.
Wait, what?
Batman and Superman, Rise of the Super Sons.
It's Superboy and Robin, Damian Wayne.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw that somewhere. Is that on HBO Max too?
I think it just came out, so I don't know.
Oh, it's not out yet. Okay, I got
you. Give it a couple months. But still, it.
I think my guy Jason Momoa is still doing Batman, so I'm good with that.
Well, that's good, but Aldous Hodge doesn't need to do Jon Stewart anymore, because I agree with Roy. I could have done that.
Right.
If they just needed a deep black voice to read it, I could have read shit. Aldous shit.
Yeah, he did. It's like there was literally like no emotion in that character, which is completely opposite of what Jon Stewart actually is. And so, let me put it this way: Dwayne McDuffie, Jon Stewart.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Got you. As far as the story is concerned, I thought the story was okay, but I thought it was a little dark, man. I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was.
Really?
Yeah. And they had the inclusion of a character that came in from their shorts. It was actually a continuation. his story is actually a continuation. Him being in the film is a continuation of that short that he
Talking
was
about
in.
Adam Strange.
Adam Strange, right?
Well, you know where else they
So,
dropped Adam Strange in? Krypton.
yeah, the TV show Krypton, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Krypton was doing really well, but
it
they canceled
was
it anyway.
dumb as
Yeah,
hell. Like I said, they just don't get it, man. Well, no, that was on Sci-Fi,
You,
wasn't it?
it
yeah.
was. You know what? We could go 2 hours just on how fucked up DC and Warner Brothers is,
Let's not
but
do that though.
let's not let's not go down that road. But what's going to happen is, prayerfully, hopefully, James Gunn writes this shit because they got too much shit going on out there, and it's too fucking confusing, and they need someone to course correct and get that shit right.
Hopefully, he's a big enough fan, or that he's like deep into research for the books, because that's going to be really important.
But what do you? So real quick, this will be the last thing we tackle before we leave. What do we see James Gunn doing with this? He's got this mountain of content. It's scattered amongst the 4 different directions. What would, if you were him, what would be the first thing you would do to straighten all this out?
I probably would do a world's finest film with Batman and Superman.
Hmm.
What's World's Fight? I need you. We
Okay.
need you to. Those who didn't read it need you to go a little deeper than that.
Yeah, World's Finest is a DC comic where they would pair 2 superheroes together, almost kind of like Marvel team up. And normally they would pair Batman or Superman with another hero, but recently World's Finest has been Batman and Superman. And I would do that type of film where they would be going up against Lex Luthor and somebody else, or a threat from another place. Or
I
maybe
thought that
like Lex Luthor and Ra's al Ghul.
I thought that the Batman v Superman movie should have been called World's Finest, to be honest, because that just seemed like it should be their team up film. But what the fuck do I know?
Yeah. Or you know what? They could have done they could have done an adaptation of Batman and Superman. What was it called? Batman and Superman. Most world's most.
Yep.
Yeah.
They could have done
Yeah.
and that way they could have introduced some other heroes as well. It would have been cameos, but they could have introduced them.
Well, actually, yeah,
And then
like
yeah,
that was Shazam. They could have done Shazam in that, and they had Hawkman, and I know in the cartoon. For my answer to your question, I think it's happening already with all this stuff being shut down. I think that was probably part of his thing. Is that we've got to, like you said, we've got to reset the continuity. We've got to give people a clear direction of what's what, because you've had 3 different universes out there, at least animated, television, and movie, and none of them connected. So that doesn't work especially not for big budget movies. Marvel has screwed everyone up. And now the other people have no choice but to follow a similar program if they want to make money with their movies.
No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, because we talked about
That's
that before,
absolutely
how it's like, dude, y'all have no direct. That's when we first started saying it looks like DC is just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. Where Marvel is telling you, yeah, for the next 10 years, we taking all your damn money.
Yeah,
You
I know
got to
that's
see
right.
this movie to understand what the hell happening in this movie.
No,
And
that's true. You're absolutely correct. For me, I guess my hard reset. So I've got a Flash movie that's been made. I have an Aquaman movie that's been made, and they're both just kind of. And I have a Shazam movie. They're sitting there waiting. I think that the hard reset comes. Black Adam has proven successful. My hard reset would be a new Superman film with Henry Cavill as your superhero, as your Superman, and that is the tentpole from which everything else springs. I mean, I don't know. God, James Gunn, whatever they're paying him isn't enough because he got a whole big mess to clean up. But Roy is checking to see if the feds are closing in on him at the hotel room, so we need to go. So he can pack up his shit and get out. Rod, you got anything for us before we leave?
Go see Black Adam. See Wakanda Forever next week.
Okay.
Are we going somewhere to see that, John?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you like I told. So I have a group of friends from one of my former jobs that we go see superhero movies together. But I told them, I told my daughters, and I told my wife, I'm going November 10th to see Wakanda Forever. I don't care who the fuck goes with me. You're more than invited to come. But if you ain't jumping on this train, I'm going to see this fucking film. I don't give a goddamn. I'll go by my
If you
goddamn
happen to
self.
be there, cool.
Yes. I will give you the theater. I will give you the time. If you're there, that's great. If not, that's on you.
Right.
Well, I'm going, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm gonna be there Thursday night, and it's funny.
Okay.
It's funny. I took my daughter to see Black Adam. After I'd already seen it, and she was talking about a friend of hers called, talking about some kid. She's got this one friend who apparently tries to get with her to go see movies before she gets to see them with me. And she made this comment talking about something. You hadn't called me. I didn't know if we were going to see the movie, and I just looked at her. She's like, "Okay, Daddy, yeah, I know I'm wrong. I know we going to see it." Exactly. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I had to call you to tell you we going to see Wakanda Forever? Oh, okay.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So Roy, we'll talk offline because I'm going.
Yes, sir.
I'm going November 10th.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water.
And I was debating. And I don't
already
think
have
I can
tickets?
I don't think I can do the midnight showing
Not
like
yet.
I was thinking about it. But yeah, we gonna have to hook that up and
You better
get out there.
pre-order
Now
your
wait a minute, where
tickets.
do you live now? I mean, where do you? Oh no, you still in Decatur. I'm the one that moved.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You better pre-order your
Anything
tickets.
coming up on the network, Roy?
Just getting ready, man. We actually will have some really fly stuff happening in basketball season going into next year, but we'll be previewing some of the HBCU basketball stuff actually over the next 2 months, closing out 2022. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of dope, man. And we're gonna have a promotion that's coming up from the network that we're gonna be looking to get some help with to try to help make some things happen for us.
Cool beans.
That's it.
All right. Well, for the Frozen Auntie Nicole, for the Five Borough Ronin, for the Master DJ Producer Supreme, and for the Redbone Assassin who's not here, for Uncle Percy from the Booty Chair. I think that's it. And from me, we will talk to you next week. Night night.